Continuing here. So yeah, not only I am uncomfortable talking about things of a sexual nature, but I believe everybody is, and there's some good reason to that. Everybody that is that's not trying intentionally to be salacious, and I'm certainly not trying to be salacious. I'm just trying to make a point in how our thinking is kind of weird. It's different. It's like it really sometimes has no basis for why we think the way we do, but we do. And personally, like I said, I like clothing. And I'm glad that Americans have a degree of prudishness, let's say. Okay, that we're not like some European countries, as we all know. I mean, full grown men walking around naked in public places. I mean, yeah, I'm glad that's not America. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad. I mean, we've got plenty of nude beaches people can go to and all that. But you know what? When it comes, and of course, there's nudist colonists, okay, of people. We all know that this exists. The entire families go to these places, and they just all want to be naked together. And hey, to each his own. I don't judge them in that sense. I don't. Biblically speaking, there's really not a lot of basis for over judging each other, and we should go easy on each other, especially in light of the fact that there's all these people that at least profess to be righteous people, the teachers and preachers out there, the pastors of churches that are struggling with this. So your wives go easy on these guys, ladies, because I'm telling you, this is a powerful, powerful force. You might think it's stupid and silly, and your husbands are showing no discretion when it comes to these things. But listen, those drugs that God put in our bodies are powerful, okay? And it is not becoming. I agree with that. It's not becoming that men want to look at images of nude women, for example. Uh, and it's lust. I think we could safely say it's lustful. But men do struggle with that polygamous mentality. That this idea that they all want this harem. But at the end of the day, they know what they want is one wife. That's all they really, and a lot of guys can barely handle that. But they know at the end of the day, they just want one wife that they can be totally enthralled with, totally in love with, totally devoted to, and they want the reciprocation. They want to be that one man for that one woman because of the godly instinct that overrides all this nonsense, all these vices, and this chaff, basically, at the end of the day. It's just, fantasy is what it is. And so we all need to take it easy on each other and not be overly judgmental and just understand it's very powerful. But again, like I said, I'm glad that we're a little prudish in America and not like some European countries where it's just, open nakedness everywhere. So, as much as I would like to abolish money in all its entirety and incarnations and manifestations, all its forms, I do think that some form of clothing is probably important. I mean, this goes back to the original sin, that we knew we were naked. This was the first question God asked, oh, who told you were naked? Well, they couldn't really answer. Well, we just kind of deduced it, that we felt this shame. Well, why did they feel the shame? Same reason why we feel shame. Why none of us are going to accidentally forget to put our pants on, okay, and walk out downtown naked, okay? It doesn't happen accidentally. We're very cognizant and aware when we're naked and not. And this is the, price that we paid. Why we're not oblivious like all the other creatures. Why we can't just walk around naked all the time. And why it's probably never going to happen again, even when the renewal of all things takes place, because there's this clothing that's talked about in Scripture where we're clothed in righteousness. Okay, we get these robes of righteousness that hide our nakedness. Okay, so apparently, even in eternity and when the Lord's will is accomplished on earth, we're still going to have this degree of modesty that is going to be prevalent. Okay, so that's as much as I know about that, because this is a very, very in-depth issue that very few people talk about, because it is very uncomfortable. Anytime you talk about sexuality, it's uncomfortable. But it's just one example of ways that our minds are screwed up. Okay, and this goes back to genetic reasons, the fall of man, the original sin, the knowledge of good and evil. Something's very wrong with this picture. Why we're the only creatures that feel compelled to wear clothing, why we're the only creatures that feel compelled to use money with no intrinsic value. I mean, bartering would be one whole hell of a lot more fair. I mean, how fair is it for me to say, yeah, I just want to make money. That's going to be my commodity. I just print money, man. Yeah, but that's essentially what the Federal Reserve Bank is doing. That's it. We're saying you're in debt to us because we say so. We can get away with it. And in the meantime, we've got the wherewithal that we're worth trillions if we say so. And we could buy up all the Earth's resources if we wanted to with fiat money that we've just printed off a printing press. The paper and ink it cost us. That's it, man. That's our barter that we have to offer you. Can you see, understand the madness? I mean, you wrap your mind around that. They could buy up all, and the greatest resource, like Adam Smith, the great economist, in his book, The Wealth of Nations, pointed out, labor, a willing workforce, is every nation's single greatest asset, which makes perfect sense. A kid can understand that. Yeah, you could sit on a mountain, a capital, but if you don't have a willing workforce and slavery is illegal, how are you going to get anything done? Okay? You're not. Labor would serve itself if they were free. And they hate that. The establishmentarians hate that. They hate that idea of people being free. And so we don't need you anymore, rendering them irrelevant. We don't want your money. We don't need your money. We don't need your paper and ink and your pretty artistry so that we can go in debt. And you can just keep on pushing this burden on to the people that can least afford the burden of this national debt. Okay, we're in a lot of trouble, my friends. And we got to wake up, man, and smell not the coffee. That smells good. Okay, we're gonna smell that steaming, rotten pile of manure is what we're gonna smell. Okay, that's it, man. And we've stepped in it deep. We're in it deep, my friends, and it is gonna be traumatic when this worm even starts to turn. Okay, when you start seeing cost of living deflation, people are going to be up in arms. Okay, it's going to mark the end of the Federal Reserve. That's when people are going to get, how dare you, but not realizing that there's going to be an entire reset of economic reality once they're gone. When we supplant it with sound money, sound economic policies, which create a rising tide of prosperity across the board, not leaving labor class out of the loop, as if they deserve it. Oh, unskilled. Oh, we cheat somebody. Somebody's got to lose. We got to, take advantage of somebody, leave somebody out of the loop. No, we don't. No, we don't. And it's immoral. It's evil to suggest that that's okay in any way, shape, or form. So don't be evil. This border wall, Trump's national security thing. I said from the beginning I didn't like this idea because you know what? We could just, anybody that tries to come here illegally, make it uncomfortable for them. Okay, how you can't get driver's license. You shouldn't be able to. You shouldn't be able to apply for public assistance. You've got to come in the gate. Okay, you got to enter through the gate. You got to do things on the up and up legally. How do we expect? Why should any American follow the law? When you say these people are exempt, that it's okay, that they're privileged. So it's an exclusive privilege that you're not privy to. That's what you're telling people. No, they can break the law and do illegal things, but you better follow the law. And we're just supposed to accept this, right? Right under our noses. Accept it. That's it. That's tough, man. Just conform, comply, do what we say. Don't do what we do. Do what we say you should do. Don't be, you're never going to have the power we have, okay? But you can please us. You can feed the beast. And that's what we want you to do. Just keep feeding us. Keep nourishing us, the beast system. And keep helping us kick the can down the road. Push this envelope as far as we can. Take this trajectory toward death and destruction as far as we can. We want to bring in a third world status in America because the Bill Gates and the Al Gores of the world want to bring we got to bring the standard of living down. We got to impose austerity to keep their carbon footprint down. That's the pretense, the pretext. That's the only explanation they have for why they would dare to deliberately impose poverty on people, austerity. See, it's totally unnecessary human suffering, and I'm absolutely and utterly unequivocally opposed to unnecessary human suffering. Okay? This is bull. You know, another thing, the mainstream media never asks all these people that worry about unvaccinated people, oh, they're a threat to the public. But the mainstream media, do you ever ask these people that believe that way, say, well, wait a minute, if your child and you are vaccinated, you're protected, right? You're inoculated. Why do you worry what somebody else does? Do you care about the Constitution here? You understand, it's nobody's business but your own. If you do your own research and you decide not to vaccinate your kids or yourself, that's your prerogative, okay? That's your exclusive privilege. That's your constitutional right and obligation, you understand? That's your responsibility, is not to comply and conform to every whim of the establishmentarians. When they act like there's no differing opinions in the professional spheres. No, oh no. No, there's nobody out there that disagrees with you, is there? Nobody that's professional. No researchers. No doctors. No. Never heard of a vaccine damage fund. What are you talking about? You think the mainstream media is going to want to enlighten people about that? Then they say, well, why would we need a vaccine damage fund? Well, we got to protect the vaccine company. From what? I thought these vaccines were 100% perfectly safe. Oh, then they come, oh, no, but they're 99%. I mean, you're dumb. So 1 in 100 people, it's okay. I mean, could you imagine if the lottery odds were that good? I'd be buying lottery tickets. 1 in 100? Hell yeah, man. So, I mean, no. So even if that's true, that 1%, there you got a problem with, and they won't disclose that there is a vaccine damage fund the government had to set up to protect the vaccine companies. The vaccine companies said, we're not making vaccines unless you protect us from lawsuits. Do you hear the mainstream media trying to educate you? I'm trying to educate you. Okay? Do your own research. Look it up. You think anything I say isn't true? Do your own research. Look it up. Okay? Come to your own conclusions. Make your own deductions. Trump vindicated, exonerated. Duh. I mean, everybody knew that. It's the most absurd thing in the world. This hardcore capitalist guy, Trump, okay, is going to collude with the communists, right? The socialists. Well, they used to be. But now that they've gone capitalist, we got all these haters of Russia. I'm like, what in the hell? Where are these people coming? They're crazy people. That's who's ruling over us. Nutbags, okay? Freaks, monsters, murderers. That's who runs the show, man. Threats, intimidation, bribes, payoffs, hitmen, mercenaries, soldiers of fortune. Yeah, that's how it runs. That's how it works. We're in a lot of trouble. Okay, we need God's help. And that's how things are going to change. The literal finger of God that's going to inspire the hearts of men to do the right thing, even if it ends up costing them their lives, like it did with Martin Luther King Jr. and JFK and Abraham Lincoln and others, okay, that have been murdered for the cause of fighting the good fight. Nobody's enemy, were they, but yet people decided that they were their enemies. And so they said, hey, they value conscience. I don't. I got the upper hand here. I got the ace up my sleeve because you value conscience. I don't. I have a huge advantage. I'll blow your brains out without an ounce of compunction about it. You wonder why these kind of people rule the world? That's your answer right there. Values. They're ungodly people that don't fear God. They don't revere God. They don't care about answering to Him. They say, hey, if Lucifer takes me to hell, so be it. I'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven, is their attitude, right? Wow, Fox News, Tucker Carlson hosted a couple of, I believe they were fighter pilots that were reporting obvious otherworldly crafts in our atmosphere, okay, operating. No ifs, ands, or buts. These guys know all the inventory we have. They know an intelligent craft under control when they see one. And they said, hey, these things are going as fast as a bullet come out of a gun, which is incredibly fast. We're talking about Oh, maybe 20, 30,000 miles an hour or something. People say, oh, how stupid is that? What about the G forces? They don't understand. What about the G forces? How can the Earth be spinning at over 1,000 miles an hour right now, and you can't feel it? You explain that to me. Okay, I'll tell you why. I'll explain it to you. It has to do with things like magnetism and gravity and atmosphere. Okay, the fact that our atmosphere goes up 100 miles. God thought this all through. God knows what God's doing. So it's the same technology, but on a micro level. When you install this anti-gravity or gravity amplification and the magnetic involvement and there's certain kinds of fuel that drive this energy source and having your own atmosphere, you don't have G force